Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm planning with this kit from PoppyWillowCo called Spooky. Really loving both the fall and the Halloween vibes. The full boxes and the headers all have pumpkins and skulls and spider webs, and just really loving the Halloween stuff. It felt very appropriate for Halloween and also rose gold foil. I've also painted my nails with this spider web kind of spooky vibe too. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so as this is a Halloween episode, I think I'm a podcast now. As this is a Halloween video, I am going to talk about some spookier things that have happened to me, not recently, but some like spooky events that have happened in my life. As a disclaimer, I want to say that I don't believe in ghosts and spirits. I'm very much like firmly grounded in reality and logic and all of that, and am not really spiritual or anything, but there have been some things that have happened in my life where I've been like, that was really weird, kind of freaked me out. So my parents are from this country in South America called Guyana. It's generally traditionally thought of as part of the Caribbean, even though it is very firmly landlocked in the continent of South America. And so there's a thing in Guyanese culture, in Caribbean culture, I think, but I'm most familiar obviously with Guyanese culture, called a jumbi. And my parents used to refer to jumbies as kind of being like spirits, ghosts, mischievous beings that like sort of do things and move things around in your house. And I never really got the impression that they were kind of malicious, but more that they were just like things that came and like did stuff. I guess the modern analog might be like fairies or elves or something, except I think of those as being really like positive and cool, and I don't think that jumbies are always known as being really positive. Anyway, when we were growing up, anytime anything weird or unexplained happened, my parents would say, oh, it must be a jumbi that did it. And there were a couple instances, as kids where I was like, I really don't believe in this stuff, but it's kind of freaking me out. So an example happened one Christmas. So during Christmas, my mother had been driving an old car and it had broken down. And basically the battery had died on us. And we were waiting in the car for someone to come and basically pick us up and help us get a tow. And we're sitting there in the car. It's completely silent. It's winter. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the radio clicks on and a line from a song goes, "Everything will be all right." I don't even remember what song it was, but like the radio just suddenly clicked on when the car had no power, and we were all like, oh my God. My mother at first was like, you know, maybe it's a jumbie, but I think she changed her thinking to be like, okay, this is God. You know, my mom is very spiritual, and she was like, this is, you know, like a small miracle, and like we know that everything's gonna be all right, which I suppose was comforting. But then we got home, and so we had this nativity scene in our house, which, if you don't know what a nativity scene is, it's basically the scene of like Jesus's birth. There's wise men around. It's like figurines sort of depicting this. And we had that up, as well as like a Santa figurine up. And when we got home from, you know, this car incident, we went over to the mantle, or someone did, I don't remember who exactly, and we saw that all of the heads of the figurines were off, like had been broken off, and were just laying there. And it was really scary. It was just, you know, it was so bizarre, you know, because no one had done anything to them before we left the house. And so for us to come back and like have had, you know, these things, just heads fall off, was like really, really scary. So that's a scary thing that happened. You know, we've had a few things, I think, in my family happen with, like, we leave the house and we come back and something's just not right. You know, when we were growing up, we had this beautiful glass dining room table, and we left once, you know, I forget where we were going, just somewhere, and we came back and it was shattered, like completely shattered. And we didn't have a pet. We, like, the apartment was completely empty. There was just nothing in there. And yeah, really scary. So that was pretty frightening. And yeah, I mean, I think there was one more thing that happened. So another scary story that happened to me, which is most recently, is I was going to the Walgreens kind of late near my house. When I say late, it's more like 7:30, 8 o'clock, usually later than I would go, to get some soap and deodorant, just basic toiletries. I get in there and there's no one in the Walgreens. And, you know, it's a little bit late, so I'm like, all right, maybe that's fine. There's, you know, no one here. But I, you know, turn around and the person who is sort of standing by the counter to ring me up is just standing there. Not sitting, standing, and kind of staring at me. And I think maybe I was just feeling a little susceptible to Halloween stuff, but I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, and it's kind of freaking me out a little. So I continue about the Walgreens, you know, doing my thing, looking for the soap, looking for all the stuff, and I hear a door slam behind me, and I turn around and there's no one there. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. It looked like a door maybe to the employee bathroom or something, and I expected to see someone either coming out of it or like looking down the hall. So I sort of go down, you know, turn the corner and look around it to see if anyone was walking down the hall, and I didn't see anybody. And so I'm standing there, being like, okay, this is really freaking me out. You better get your stuff and go. So I pick up my deodorant, I pick up my soap, and I remember that I need something else. So I don't know which aisle it is, and seems to be, again, no one else in the store but the guy who's standing at the counter waiting to ring me up, so I can't really ask anyone for help. So I'm walking up and down the aisles, and I turn, you know, the aisle that there's like a medicine aisle, and there's a guy just standing there with a mask. I think he was probably looking for something, if I'm being honest, but I didn't, like, when I got to the aisle, I literally, like, he didn't move or he didn't say anything to me. So it was just like, I walked there and he was just standing there. And at that point, I don't even remember what I was looking to get, but I was like, you know what? You better get out of here. So I walked over to the counter. I said hi, you know, I put my stuff on the counter, and the guy who's supposed to be ringing me up, you know, is just standing there and doesn't say anything. And I do not understand why not. And I sort of look at him and he doesn't even take my stuff. And at this point, I'm like, all right, look, I don't want to be in a horror movie. I don't know what's going on here. And I just say, I'm sorry, I don't need these things anymore. And I run out of the Walgreens. It was probably nothing, but I just got so freaked out. There was just like no way. So this is the end of my scary stories and my Halloween spread. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, feel free to click like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye.